Hello and welcome to Ludumcast episode 7. Yes, I'm your host Spellbound, and
that's right.
Power, you are the co-host as usual.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Today we have guests.
Guests?
Yes, guests.
I thought this was our special time together, Spellbound.
Well, I guess this is
You betrayed me.
Yes, this is
I
polygon.
thought we were just gonna have like watch a movie or something. Instead, you're bringing along all these people.
So we just watched the audio. We just listened to the audio.
Do you not love me anymore?
No, this is a polyamorous relationship now.
God, fuck.
Deal with it. Okay, so
For the crowd.
Oh my.
I mean,
Okay, never mind. I like where this is going already.
You're awesome now.
Ooh.
you know what? Sure. Okay, so
And that was Spellbound's attempt at having an intro, which
yes,
we ruined completely.
Yes.
Oh, you should watch the outros. The outros are great.
you know what?
man.
I'm terrible at intros anyway, so this
You're
is
terrible
this
at
is still
outros
good.
also.
What do you mean I'm terrible at outros? My outros are fine.
Remember the fucking Andromeda video?
Wait, no, that wasn't the
How is
Andromeda
this an
video.
improvement?
I don't know.
What have I gotten myself into?
I don't know.
What
This
is
is.
this?
I was supposed to say who you people are, but this is derailing beyond my wildest expectations. Okay, who are you people? There's Shadow Moon and Shadowling. A lot of shadows. Moon is our resident. I don't know. I think of you as sort of the analyst of the group.
The Russian expert.
Yes, who's not actually Russian.
Yes.
Russian enough.
Yes, and Ling is our ARPG expert. And there's a very specific reason why we have these two here today, because one, Path of Exile, The Fall of Oriath, and two, Creation Club. Please don't yell.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess let's start with the good news, which is Path of Exile.
Yes, Path of Exile, that's patch 3.0. What do you guys think about it? No takers?
I honestly think it's a great improvement to the game overall, even with the small flaws in pacing as you level. But that said, I believe it's a great improvement to the game.
I think that the problems in pacing, although they're still there, they're a bit better than they were before this patch. Because at the very least, you don't feel like, it doesn't feel like a chore. At least a couple first times around, doesn't feel like a chore when you start revisiting old areas.
Yes,
Because before the expansion, it was like you finish the game and then you just move up to the next difficulty. And while that was all well and good for like the first couple of times you were clearing through, you were leveling your character. I think it feels a lot better now, even though like I've only done it like once. I've only done it about once, like leveling a character through, but still the entire experience was a lot more fun than just repeating the same acts over and over again till you get to the end game.
well, I guess I'm gonna be the bad cop, which this is gonna be a thing every time I'm here. Get used to it. I must say a thing though, is with the elimination of the New Game Plus mechanic, they were able to introduce enemies that actually provide difficulty once you get to a certain stage of the game. Previously, you'd get to Act 4, where you had to pay a lot of attention to different kinds of mobs, and your build was very fleshed out already. And you then, Act 4, you'd get to New Game Plus, and you'd go back to the Act 1 enemies that were tailored for characters that barely had any abilities or items.
Yeah.
So you'd go from somewhat complex gameplay to literally just rolling through the content until you got to Act 3 and 4 again.
Yeah, you could feel that as you were leveling. Like as soon as you got to Act 4, like you could feel yourself pushing your build to the limit of your level, and then you just finish Act 4, and you can feel that those mobs are dying much easier than any other mob was dying in Act 4. You could feel that, but now it's much better since they actually have proper mobs as you level.
Alright, so full disclaimer, I played Path of Exile back way back in the day when it first came out.
Sorry before I interrupt you, because I'm amazing introductions, I forgot to say who was who.
How is this a thing? Like 15 minutes in? What?
Yes, okay. The reason why I didn't interrupt you sooner was because OBS is somehow picking your audio as input because it's amazing, and I was fiddling with everything, trying to fix this. so okay.
Okay, the Eastern European accent is Moon. The non-Eastern European accent.
Yes, thank you. Oh my God, this is amazing.
10 out of 10.
Yes, I mean,
Put this on a poster.
look, quality was never a thing that I said was going to be part of this podcast. So
the fuck's quality? We never did a quality
at this point. Yes, but anyway.
Take 2.
Yes, take 2. No editing, nothing.
Now details Path of Exile experience.
Yes.
Oh man.
So I played all the way back when Act 2 was barely a thing. I then played through Act 2 and Act 3, and I stopped playing around the time where Piety was the final boss for Act 3. So there's obviously a very large gap, and they've added a lot of content. Like there was another final boss, they added Malachi, they added Act 5. Thing is, like, it's obviously better. Like, it's a step in the right direction. It's an improvement. Like the Diablo 3 ditched the whole repeat campaign to level in harder difficulty. It was never the best part of Diablo 2. Like, it was never a good thing. It was kind of a band-aid fix to just give people a way to progress a lot further in terms of levels and build. Thing is, honestly, they need to improve a lot. They need to do a lot of work. Like, it's rushed. You can tell it's rushed.
Oh, the Path of Exile, the new act?
Yes, like the way it plays. Act 5 is great. They obviously spent most of the time there.
Well, yeah.
After Act 5, you do a kind of backtracking-ish with new areas, slightly new... And it's like it's not really a repeat, it's more of a remix.
Yeah, you're revisiting revamped old areas with new mobs, kind of.
Yeah.
The thing is, they just made everything a lot bigger, and I don't think there's a need for everything to be a lot bigger.
Yep, I agree. I don't. I mean, okay. Disclaimer: I have not actually finished all the acts. I'm on Act 8, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Sun and Moon act.
The areas get noticeably larger, and I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm trying to rush through the game, but I don't find this like I don't find that's a good thing, because it's just taking me forever to get anywhere, and I find it's getting in the way. I find it annoying.
Yes. I've leveled several characters to the end game already, and I can say that for my first experience, it was amazing. I was just exploring, looking at the scenery, checking out every tidbit of lore, talking with the NPCs, trying to get the feel for the flow of the game now, since it's very different from what it was before. And when I leveled my second character, I'm like, man, this up to Act 5 is amazing. Act 6 is alright, and it just goes downhill from there.
Yep.
The gameplay experience just takes a hit because the areas are large and they are not particularly pleasant to just traverse.
It's a lot of the same.
I think some of that's the consequence of them just being revamped old areas. Like Act 8, for example, right? The whole bridges connecting with each other. those areas are huge, and it's like it's a whole lot of trouble to go to just to go across them, right? And like if you're anything like me, you want to like complete almost the entire zone, like because you want to see if anything's there. But like most of those areas in part two, like they're big and they have mobs in them, but they have a lot of empty space as well. But I don't think that's not like they didn't want to do anything interesting with them. I think it's just they either didn't have the time, or it's just a consequence of like using maps from previous acts. I think it's more a question of like having to reuse old assets, so they just compensate by throwing more stuff in there instead of actually occupying the space.
Yeah, one thing that... Oh, go on.
Fine. Another thing I consider kind of just rushed is that there's a huge difficulty spike after Act 5 because of your lowered resistances, and they just... like, it feels like they copy-pasted a lot of the mobs and stats and the mob density from the next difficulty into Act 6. But because it's Act 6 and not the next difficulty, you're not really prepared for that.
They do appear...
That happened gradually. Before, since you started at a very low difficulty, because of the type of mobs you'd get being tailored for characters without any skills or gear, going into Act 6, that is somewhat a continuation in creature complexity when compared to Act 5 and Act 4. That 30% resistances a hit you take is really hard if you are a newbie at the game. Like, if you don't know that's going to happen, that's going to hit you like a truck.
Yeah. Yep. After killing the beast.
After you finish Act 5 for the first time, like when they slash your resistances.
Okay, when I got into Act 6, I noticed that I was just taking more damage in general. I didn't see it as a negative because I thought I was just too tanky before. I don't know if this is just... I don't know, because I'm playing a summoner, right? And I didn't have practically any trouble going through the entire Act 1 through 5. I didn't really have any trouble with mobs. And when I got to Act 6, I'm like, oh, I have to actually move around out of the way of attacks now.
Yep.
I think that's a systematic issue with the game. Like, through my entire playthrough, and I got to the end, and I've been doing like tier 5 and 6 maps. It's always been the case. I'm either incredibly tanky and nothing is a threat, or I get one shot by everything. It's extremely uneven, and at least to me, the game is very bad at giving you feedback about what's killing you. Like, for the longest time, I died to Kitava without knowing which attack is killing me and what elemental damage or physical damage is killing me, and what is a good number for my life and armor and resistances. And at this, I'm following a build that is quite detailed, has a guide, and supposedly can clear endgame. Like, the leveling process itself in this patch, it's like, if you're not already an expert at Path of Exile, or you're not doing a very safe ranged build, you're probably gonna have a bad time, and it's really hard to figure out why. And I think that's a very serious flaw with the game.
That's another thing that I find like, I can't not compare it to Diablo 3, because I mean,
well,
who can ignore Diablo 3 when talking about Path of Exile? The thing is, when I got into the game, if I didn't have you people to sort of tell me, do this, do that, don't this, don't that, I would be completely lost. Whereas, as opposed to Diablo 3, I get in, like, you know, I mean, I sort of understand, because there's a streamline and the polish that a AAA company can bring to a game. I get that. but I was just hopelessly lost in Path of Exile, and I still have this, like, I just collect things. I don't know what they're used for. Unless you want to spend your time reading a bunch of shit, you're probably not you're probably not gonna get it, right? And I guess it's just the nature of the game, of Path of Exile is not made for casuals.
About that, my issue with all that is that Path of Exile can be a very simple and casual game, barring the difficulty spikes.
I think I know what you're getting at.
The issue is that if you want to do a build, many times you need to already understand how your character works and how the build is going to work.
Yeah.
Many builds are not beginner friendly at all.
They say they can clear endgame, they say they can do this, they say they can do that, but maybe it's not a playstyle you're used to, you're not comfortable with, you don't really understand how to play it when faced with certain challenges from the mobs you're killing, and it can be a very frustrating experience.
I feel the game in general has an issue at like communicating clearly certain ideas. I find that a lot in Telegraph, but go on. We'll get to that eventually.
Yes. The thing I wanted to say is they did a great job adding tutorials and the little help button that they keep flashing. Hey, dude, there's a help section here.
Yeah.
But even so, it's not large enough for players to progress smoothly through the campaign, as this has happened in this group.
Well, and even then, like most of the new tutorials that they added are just like simple game mechanics, like
the cards
how does
thing.
the gems. The god system where you just pick a major, pick a minor. They teach you about gems and how the support gems work and the Val gems and how you get those and etc. But even then, like all these things that they explained in the new tutorial system, they're just basic like mechanics. There's not anything like there isn't anything to help you with play styles and like and build planning and all that.
No. I need to say that adapting to a playstyle, in my opinion, is up to the player.
Well, yes, but like if you're new to the game, like especially a game that can be as complex as Path of Exile in terms of like build creation, right? You want them to have like the ability to understand how it is that they can build that they can do their build. And the game doesn't give you that. It tells you how the passive skill system works. It tells you how the skill system works, but it doesn't tell you how you can like plan ahead in a way, right? It doesn't teach the player that they'll need to invest in a certain area to use a certain build to use a certain playstyle that they'd want for themselves.
Basically, what you're saying is the tutorials, the help section, should have a section that tells newer players that, hey, if you're planning out your build, remember, you'll need resistances and life, because staying alive is way more important than having more damage to kill things faster.
Yes.
To be fair, the lack of clarity in Path of Exile is its most aggravating flaw. The biggest example is the vendor recipes.
Yes.
You enter the game, you start getting currency from the ground, you start getting items. Many players will start picking up all the trash they can get, and they go to a vendor and sell it for scraps.
Yeah, literally.
They don't know what to look for in gear. For players that don't have experience, it's hard to tell in a piece of gear if you're going to need it for later, if it's an upgrade directly.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially with Path of Exile stat system, with the
The-
whole resistances and all that.
the stats being more complex than, let's give the example, Diablo.
Yeah.
You do get the feeling of being overwhelmed by information and nothing to hold you. In
Mhm.
Diablo, it's really simple. You say, oh, vitality gives me health, armor is armor,
Toughness is
I
just
have
toughness.
crit and crit damage,
Yes.
That and
DBS.
and I can make my cooldowns shorter.
Yep.
Everything is very much self-explanatory, and
Yep.
there's no certain caps you should try to reach unless you're going for a very specific build.
Yep.
And
And
usually
it
those
is,
caps only apply to cooldown reduction. But
it's obvious, like you open your inventory screen, you mouse over an item, you hit the compare, the numbers go up in your inventory screen. You don't have to open extra stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
In
That's
Path of
true.
Exile, you have to manually compare numbers and check, and that's like, I get it, it's extra UI work and stuff, but this is the big new expansion for new players. This game has been out for many years. This should be in.
Yeah.
You should not have to double check different screens, manually write down numbers, and do mathematics to see which item is better. That's just bad.
Yeah, this is like this is modern design too.
Yeah, it's a simple fix. Just you just need a box of text that says what you're gonna lose and what you're gonna gain. That's it.
Yes.
It's a simple fix.
Yes.
I also don't like having to do inventory Tetris all the time.
You'd like an
yeah.
auto sort button.
Yes, I
Yes,
would
oh.
like an auto.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
I
yes.
would like an auto sort button.
An auto sort button would be really good, especially for the stash space.
Yep.
Yeah.
That thing can
I
be
can't
messy.
think of a single person who wouldn't want an auto sort button or has like a
Yeah.
genuine real reason to not want an auto sort button.
No one likes to play inventory Tetris. Even when inventory Tetris was a thing, like in most RPGs, no one liked to play inventory Tetris.
But since
It's just
we're
boring.
since we're on the
Because
topic
the
of
game's about
inventory,
killing stuff, not about sorting your inventory.
yeah, since we're on the topic of inventory and comparing with Diablo 3, do you guys prefer the inventory of Diablo 3 or the one Path of let's assume Path of Exile has an inventory sorting mechanic, right? Like an auto sort.
Yeah.
Would you still prefer that to Diablo 3's inventory?
They're very much alike. It's just that it's more compact in Diablo 3.
Yeah, it's
Like,
sort of standardized size.
Yeah, stuff doesn't take as much space. But I think the reason stuff and like that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think the reason a lot of items like take a lot of space is just so you buy more stash space. Like I think that's one of
no.
I think that's one of the reasons. No,
That could be one of the reasons, but I think
there
another.
are items there are items in Path of Exile that are ridiculously big.
Yes, I think the reason is because it incentivizes you to just not pick up every fucking thing you find on the ground.
Well, yeah, but that's another thing. Like, you want to pick up the stuff on the
Yeah,
ground.
I guess
as a new player, you don't really know what's useful or not.
Here's the thing. I guess they should have found a different way to incentivize to not pick up everything on the ground.
Well, you learned not to later, but as a
When
new
you have
player,
that-
you just want to get the
Yeah.
shiny yellows.
You learn to later when you
Yeah.
have that friend that tells you to use a filter.
Yeah.
Well, now that you
Exactly.
touched it, Path of Exile's inventory has a very, very strange relationship with the player, especially when you compare it with Diablo.
Yeah.
In Diablo, your inventory takes, say, your potion because
You always
for
use a
some
legendary
reason,
potion.
you still have to have your potion in your inventory.
Yeah, it's strange.
And usually just the trash you pick up from the ground to either see if it's better than yours or to salvage. You literally salvage everything in Diablo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything that's not legendary, you salvage, and even some
Even
legendary.
legend. Yeah.
Legendaries, salvage.
Yep.
And Path of Exile, the complexity of the items and the vendor recipes and the currencies make inventory management very much more complex than Diablo's.
Yeah.
Because you have items you want to look out for because they're good for recipes, items you want to look out for because they might be better than yours, items you want to look out for because they might be good for trading. Trading, hey guys, trading is good.
Yep.
You want to look out for items that complete your build, uniques in particular, or legendaries if you'd like. There are a lot more things you want to look out for in Path of Exile. And, as mentioned, the need for a filter. In Path of Exile, you don't have smart loot or whatever it's called. You get millions of drops.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You can have
And
your entire screen filled with junk.
it gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even with a filter, making the items you don't care about small when you press the button to highlight all the items, you can have your entire screen literally filled with trash.
Mm.
So a filter is not only recommended but necessary
Yep.
to play the game.
Yep.
You need to have something automated that tells you, hey, this item might be worth your time.
I don't know. Still not really entirely convinced about the UI thing. I get what you mean, but I'm waiting for another inventory system that will basically just fix everything. But I don't know what it is. But
A really big issue, I must say, is many skill calculations are not actually in game. There are bonuses, damage, that you cannot actually see anywhere in your skills. You need to go out of your way and calculate them somewhere else. There's a building program that does that for you, but other than that, it's either considered theory crafting because it's not actual numbers in the game, even if they probably are.
Yep.
In game, you cannot see them. I don't know. Tooltippers, ahoy! They like big numbers in their tooltips.
Yeah.
And many skills don't actually portray that.
Doesn't your DPS number on the offense tab is just flat out not helpful, especially for a lot of skills that do multiple instances of damage?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it calls it DPS, but many times it's not DPS, but damage per hit.
Yes, and sometimes like it's very hard to compare if your DPS is good or not to another player depending on the builds. It's even hard to compare between your own skills because of the way instances of damage and other things in the game work. It's like ultimately, I think this was their big chance to revamp the UI. Like, don't get me wrong, the content is good, even though I have issues with it. But just the complete lack of progress on the UI. Like, it's nearly the same as when I played it back in the day. It's been, how many, 3 years or something. That is just really bad to me and unfortunate, because playing the game is fun, but having to deal with all this, it is literal bullshit, while playing it, it's like, this is not Dark Souls, guys. You're not the Dark Souls of action RPGs. Don't
it's
try to
grim
do
dark.
that.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's grim dark for my eyes and brain to have to sort through this shit and deal with it. Like, I don't want to play an action RPG to do inventory Tetris, plan out my build 15 items ahead, and make a spreadsheet of what the value of things in my stash is. It's like, some people like to engage with that. Fine, you don't have to remove that part. You just need to make the game playable for people that just want to get in there and kill shit.
Yeah.
And right now it kind of isn't. It's like, if you want to do that, play Diablo 3. Like,
Yep.
Path of Exile,
Basically.
gameplay-wise, and in terms of things you can do, and just general game design is better, but it's not as fun to play. If you just want a fun thing to play and kill monsters, Diablo 3 is inherently superior. That to me is disappointing, because
more
Path of
accessible.
Exile could be the action RPG.
Mm.
It has the potential for greatness, but I don't see the developers addressing the issues that need to be fixed before it can reach that potential.
Yeah. Also, well, when I played it back before patch 3.0, I couldn't really. I actually couldn't play it because the latency was just killing me. But they've improved
Serves you right
significantly.
for living on an island.
Yes, because that was my choice.
Yes.
Technically, I find they've improved a lot. Like, still not as refined. Like, the combat doesn't feel as great as Diablo 3, but I actually find it is quite enjoyable.
I just enjoy being able to play, to like have the screen filled with mobs and effects and not die because, well, fuck your frame rate and fuck all these effects.
Yeah, they did something very interesting about that. It basically sort of dynamically reduced the resolution of your screen. That's smart.
You start to see everything a bit choppy,
Pixely, yeah.
but it's fine because at least you're not fucking dying.
Speaking of that, I oftentimes find that the screen is way too busy all the time. That might be because I'm playing a summoner, and it's just clustered with everything. But when you look at videos of like those crazy builds online, someone just teleports and casts a spell, and you see like 15 bolts of lightning just shoot out in an arc, and then when these things hit, things explode, and fucking Jesus descends or something. I don't know, just crazy shit. And
it depends on the build.
Yeah, I guess, but
most of those effects are kind of harmless to your player vision.
Until you're fighting a boss.
Fighting a
my
boss.
next big pet peeve.
Yes,
with you.
great segue, by the way.
Oh my.
Great segue. That's where I wanted to go.
So how many times did you die to the Brian King?
Brian King, I think like 5 or 6. I probably died an upwards of 15 times to Kitava, but this is like a team with specifically the new bosses.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god, yeah. Like, example, point in case, Arakali. Arakali has an interesting... Arakali has examples of both what's good. To me, that's good and bad in a boss fight. You know those, like, sort of... I don't even know what the hell you call them. Those spikes that shoot lasers at you. Like there's like a thin laser that appears and it's telling you, like, this is where you're gonna get... They're gonna shoot lasers, get out of the way, right?
Yeah.
This thing appears in a grid and you have to find the one piece in the grid that's not gonna get... where it doesn't fire. So you find this thing and go there and you don't get hit. And then the spider comes off from the edge of the pit and they're just sort of shooting like volleys of bursts of lasers that... How would I know this was coming, right? It was just... There was no... Or barely any forewarning that was going to happen. So unless you know the boss... You know the boss by heart, you're going to have a very hard time. And if you compare that to a boss fight that... You know, a boss fight in Diablo 3, for example, like Belial. Belial telegraphs its attacks very clearly.
Well, Belial better fucking telegraph its attacks. Have you seen what the fuck that thing does?
But it's not like the Path of Exile bosses don't do anything like that.
Well, some do, some don't. But there are some telegraphs attacks that can happen way too fast.
Yes.
I just think the screen is too visually busy during boss fights, and
also
I am playing like a guy that is a big ass guy with a shield and an axe, and my build is literally bashing things. I generate no particle effects on my own. During a boss fight, my screen is still full of shit everywhere. Like the Brine King has a wall of seawater around him. It makes the area tiny, and at specific angles, the seawater actually obscures your camera view, and you literally cannot see the floor where he casts lightning bolts, which can nearly one-shot you.
Well, the Brine King was designed to be claustrophobic, right? And, well, I don't know. I really didn't have that problem with the Brine King. Like, even the lightning attacks that he does, I could see clearly on the ground.
I couldn't because I had a million skeletons around me.
Well, okay. I can imagine that for some builds, like,
yeah.
there's like 50 zombies around you and it's really hard to see stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, well...
It's not entirely streamlined for summoners.
I think it... But, like, I don't know, maybe it depends on the person or the build or something along those lines.
I know, but I can give you I can give you another example. Go on.
Like my point was that I don't mind the actual gameplay mechanics of the boss fights. They're fine. Some of them are quite good, some of them not so, but personal preference. Like, none of them are designed badly per se. Just the visual design of the abilities is some are overloaded with particles, and the worst offenders are when they are overloaded with particles but don't actually do much damage. And there are other ones that are small particles but will one-shot you.
Yeah.
There is no consistency there.
The collision of the attack is just not properly telegraphed. Really, there's what is, I don't remember which boss fight this was. There was a beam involved. That
was it. Purity.
I think so. It would shoot like a laser beam at you, and it could swing so fucking quickly. But most of the time, it didn't look like the beam was hitting you. Like, it was sort of just in front of the beam, but it still hit you.
But it still hit you with taking damage, yeah.
And like an example of that, another example of that, and of both problems that I have with the boss fights actually is Maligaro in the newer acts. He has like teleportation attack. I'm not sure if it's teleport attack or he just teleports and then attacks you. But it happens. It's in such rapid succession that you barely have any time to react to it, and the actual slash that he does doesn't look like it connects. Or it looks like you might have been able to avoid, but you don't, and it deals a massive amount of damage. And I'm actually, every level I'm getting, I'm just putting in strength or bonus HP. I'm just trying to survive this stupid game. But the boss fights keep murdering me. And if it weren't for the fact that when you die, you can just restart and resume the boss fight. So it's not like in Diablo 3 when you die, you have to restart everything.
Yeah.
You can just jump right back in where you left. If it weren't for this, I probably would have quit the game.
But you do lose XP, and I had the folly of engaging Kitaro for the first time at like nearly a full XP bar. I walked away with literally 0 XP, and he wasn't dead. Like, I just gave up at that point and went to grind because that boss fight is atrocious on so many levels.
The first Kitara boss fight was like that death beam at the end.
That is just nothing compared to the end. I'm sad you didn't manage to get to the end for the podcast. I really wish we would have done that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just too long. I don't know. Just too much content in the middle. Like, I'm complaining about too much content. Wow, what a good problem to have.
That's true.
Yeah,
Kitaro is curious. I need to say I have a bad computer, so I have died to Kitava literally for things not rendering.
Oh boy.
Like fire on the ground. I don't see the fire on the ground. I walk over and I'm like, oh.
Oh, I'm burning to death.
It burns.
Oh,
yes.
This floor is lava.
This patch of ground is actually lava.
The floor is lava.
I do actually think, though, that playing at low settings, especially on boss fights with overlapping high particle AoE fields, is probably a good idea.
Probably, yes.
On Kitava, who, like, this boggles my mind. It's like it's basically a Belial fight, but with slightly different abilities, and he also summons ads. But
Someone's ads.
ability,
Summons
All
yeah.
bosses summon ads.
Yes.
It's the only way you get health potions back.
all of his abilities
Wait,
are
what?
red, dark red, or black, and you're fighting him on an arena that is brownish. Like, I felt I was praying. I became colorblind for that fight. That's like, why would you do this?
Kitava is the industry standard in colors.
I must add to that feeling. I did not have that much of an issue seeing his abilities. My issue was somewhat different. If you're standing literally next to the boss, which is a little bit dangerous, you can see his abilities, his swings. They're all very well telegraphed. The abilities around you are, the AoEs are very visible. You can identify where not to go. But for many builds where you want to be at medium range to the boss, you don't really see the entirety of the boss. And that can be fatal because you only see the last part of his heavily telegraphed "I'm going to one-shot your face" move.
One-shot moves in general are just terrible.
Well, it's not really a one-shot if your build is not bad, but the point being is, I believe that while they did have the good idea of zooming your camera back so you can see more.
Yeah,
It's not enough.
actually,
And speaking of zooming the camera, it's really awkward because it happens suddenly in that area. You don't get a preparation for this. You're going to have a wider screen to look at.
It kind of fades before you walk into the area.
It literally fades as you're walking into the area. You go up a ramp, you talk to the NPCs that are going to help you in the fight, and that's it. That's your preparation for your larger screen.
I do think the game in general could, at least for me, could benefit from a slightly zoomed out camera. I find the camera a bit too close to my character. I would prefer it to be a bit further because enemies seem to detect you the second they get into your screen, and they move pretty fast, so you don't really have time to react. Well, you do have time to react to them, but by the time you do, either they're already in your face or that, it's just I think the game could benefit from just slightly zooming out, just like maybe 10-15%, or even 25% the camera, just zooming out just slightly.
Yes, I would be quite happy with that, especially since I've been murdered multiple times by the new Harbinger laser totems from like half a screen away.
Yeah,
I cannot see them.
I found this mob that would spit like balls of lightning, I guess. And I'm walking, and just like balls of lightning are flying on me from off screen. And the damage and the attacks, the thing moves so quickly, the projectile moves extremely quickly, and it deals splash damage, so the damages overlap onto one another. And I died like a few times. I died once, but I almost died multiple times from that same mob in that same area. I think it was
Honestly,
just in the Maligaru place.
I think a lot of our issues are just symptoms of a lack of time playtesting and doing QA. It's like they really wanted to focus on dropping all of this new content, which is good content. Like all of it. This is the biggest expansion Path of Exile has had. It's huge.
It's massive. It's massive.
It's basically Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 World of Destruction, possibly even a little bigger. But they don't have they clearly don't have the resources to playtest and polish all of that. And I think the other thing they could have done as a solution is just to release like
One act
Act
after the other.
5 and maybe Act 6.
Yeah, one
and
after the
finish
other.
off the other. Yeah, just do it episodically or just in 2 chunks. Like, give time for people to playtest this.
Mm.
Especially with Act 10, which was I'm not sure if it was the final boss fight or the entire act was not available to playtesters to be like a surprise.
Act 9 and Act 10 only came out at launch.
Yes, and that shows. Especially like one glaring thing that any playtester would have told them, not having a waypoint before the final Kitava fight and having to go to that entire huge ass area is just terrible. There's no reason for
Even
that.
if it was just at the start of the area, even if you had to go through the entire final area, it would have been fine.
Yep.
But
like-
having to go through 2 huge, although linear areas.
Although linear, but always
Mm.
changing every time you go back there. So
Yes.
yeah,
And
annoying.
I had the problem with Maligaru as
Some of the
well.
hardest hitting
Oh.
game.
Some of the hardest what?
That area has some of the hardest hitting mobs in the game. So
Oh.
it's not only long and kind of pointless, where there should be a waypoint, it's also very likely to murder you if you're not paying attention.
Yes, I had a similar problem with again, I know Maligaru is just like coming up all the time, but I assume the Kitava thing is much worse because you say how multiple areas have to traverse to get back to the boss fight. But Maligaru, when you die, if you restart a checkpoint, it restarts you where you entered the area from the portal, and you had to walk all the way back to him. So
I don't recall that.
I don't
I don't think I died to Marigaru.
yeah, I don't know why I just kept dying to him. He just teleports on me and I'm dead. So I had to restart multiple times. And every time I get back to him, I forget to place a town portal there. It just kills me again. Well,
Like, there's a lot of this in the new acts, and we could probably go on all day with examples of just minor things that could be done slightly better and lead to a better gameplay experience. But overall, I think we can all agree the new acts are a positive improvement. They're much better than retrying the same old difficulty with slightly higher content, but they need a lot of polish.
Yep, really need a lot of polish. Basically, sort of my general opinion on what I've experienced of the Fall of Oriath so far is interesting story, right? Much technically far superior than previously, and combat not as fun as Diablo 3. That's sort of my opinion on the game. I'm not like all these things we're talking about. To me, it's like, yes, the game's not perfect, but it's sort of, I guess you can forgive them, except for the boss fights.
I like the new boss fights a lot.
They would be cool. They would be cool. To me personally, they would be cool if they just telegraphed everything better. I think visually the game is needs to sort of communicate things a bit more clearer.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I really enjoyed the new boss fights. I think they're very well done. I didn't have any real problems with them. I think I died to like Act 10 Kitava like twice. But that's just because I really wasn't paying attention. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's the build I'm using or if it's just my points that I had assigned, or if it was the hammer that Link gave me. I don't know. I didn't have those kind of problems.
This is like a thing that runs through the game. Like, personal experiences aside, just my problems with Kitava and being constantly one shots to the tanky build, like, I could be bad, I could be blind, but it's like you and Power, you and Link have played this game for ages. Like, you've played it for a very long time. You've done multiple builds. You've helped me out a lot. like 4 or 5 different people among our group of friends tried to figure out what I was doing wrong to Kitava and why I'm dying. They couldn't. Like, just the fact that we couldn't figure out why the fuck I'm dying. Like, I did finally beat the boss through just dying a shit ton of times.
Yeah.
But just the fact that we couldn't figure it out is like the game doesn't give you information properly. That should never happen.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that there's a lot of information that they don't share with you.
Well, I guess we'll agree that Path of Exile is a good game, but needs polish.
Yep, and
Very much so.
play with the build, follow a guide.
Oh yes, please play with the build.
And be prepared to die and be occasionally frustrated, but if you like theory crafting, like trying a lot of different stuff that is fun and viable, like really unique legendaries, which is one of the strongest points of the game, it will be worthwhile for you to stick through it. It's still a great game, it has a lot of new content now, more content than Diablo 3 actually. If you just put it in terms of raw quantity of things.
Yeah.
But still needs a lot of work.
We'll see. They already said that their next content will be another expansion.
Oh jeez.
Though not as big as Fall of Oriath.
I just hope it goes through more polish and better QA.
Yeah, better QA.
There's enough in the game. They don't need to rush it.
Yeah. I don't think they will. They said it. They were trying to set it for December. So.
Okay. So I guess that's it on Path of Exile.
Yep.
There was something I was gonna mention. I kind of. What was I gonna say? There's something on the tip of my tongue, and then Moon was talking. I'm like, what? It's gone now.
They blame the Gopnik.
Yes, I mean, who else?
There you go.
Well, if we don't have anything else to add to the topic, I propose we take a short break, and then we'll be back to talk about the Creation Club.
Oh boy!
It haunts our dreams and destroys our hopes.
Well,
yes,
I guess.
Hopefully, it doesn't destroy your hopes.
Hopefully.
I mean, the only thing it's going to destroy is Bethesda's relationship with modders.
Oh boy!
Break time.
Break time.
Okay, break time.
I'm gonna take a shit.
Okay, so we're back. We are back for part 2 of this.
That was quick.
Yes, this is the power of listening to an audio file.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm stuck on an audio file?
Yes, this has been the case.
Editing.
God.
Since episode 1. Oh my god. The Creation Club.
Don't break the fourth wall.
Yes, Powerhead, goddammit.
New world.
Oh, Jesus, he started singing.
Place of magic.
Copyright.
Just stop singing. Stop.
Oh shit. Oh, I forgot. Oh fuck, I forgot about that. Shit.
Oh my
Why
god.
did you stop me?
Oh, well, he did. Oh my god. No, this is. I mean, we're not monetizing, so. Wait, am I not? No, I am going to monetize it. Fuck the apocalypse. Anyway, also, one thing I would like to say, like, earlier I was saying there was the bosses in Path of Exile were summoning ads. I'm like, does it just like pull out a Coca-Cola and tell you to drink? I was just so confused what the fuck you were talking about.
What? No, like, oh, what? What?
That would be so good.
What?
You're like, they summon ads. I'm like, they summon ads?
He raises his giant mace, slams it down on the ground, and like, you know what would really go well now? A Coca-Cola.
Fresh sizzling Coca-Cola.
He just slams the hammer on the ground, and then there's like a McDonald's
That's
logo on the
Karui
ground.
way, my friends. Just drink a Coca-Cola. The way my fucking god.
And suddenly we're burgers.
Suddenly we're no, we're McDonald's.
McDonald's.
I'm not American. I don't know these things.
Yes. None of us are American.
Sprinkle Doritos on the floor and give you Mountain Dew.
Bad memes.
And then suddenly Doritos just starts raining from the sky.
Well, Spellbound here has never played an MMORPG.
Yes.
Because, like,
I have played, just not very long.
Mobs that boss summon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I didn't actually know what the fuck you're talking about. So, man, add
You need to
what?
play World of Warcraft, man.
Oh my god, I'm broke. I can't play World of Warcraft.
Don't do it. Don't want
No,
to do it.
I am not. Like, I've tried multiple MMOs and I just can't get into it. It's just, this is not my thing.
You still haven't tried Black Desert, god fucking damn it.
It's not available here. It's not my fucking fault.
Stop living in a fucking island then!
Yes.
I would like to move. Well, you know what? Give me money. I'll move.
Sure, I'll be your
Portuguese.
sugar daddy.
I'm older than you, though. That's kind of the problem.
Not if I have money.
Speaking of sugar daddies,
Okay.
Bethesda is now the sugar daddy of modders.
Oh my god.
Terrible.
That-
How do you manage to do this?
Yes. Oh, you are the segue man.
It's the power of the Gopnik.
Yes.
Yes, I'm the Segway man apparently.
That's your hero name. The
Segway man.
Gopnik Segue.
Yes.
Gopnik Segue.
Yeah.
Gopnik man.
Anyway,
Yes. Creation Club.
So anyway,
Moving
the
on.
Creation Club is out.
Yes. Yes. Okay. A
I
disclaimer.
Everyone on the internet has noticed.
Before the apocalypse begins, I would just like to say, I consistently said I was being very cautiously optimistic about this thing. I have never been more delusional than I have until now. Well, that's not true, actually. Dragon Age Inquisition was a bigger bite in the ass than this one was. Yes. No, not even Andromeda. Not even Andromeda. Not even Andromeda.
Wow.
Look. I had fun playing Andromeda. It's not a very good game, but I had fun playing Andromeda. Dragon Age Inquisition was just a waking nightmare. That game was just dull.
That's what happens when you put an MMO and turn it into a single-player game.
Yep.
It doesn't work very
Wasn't
well.
that an episode?
It was an episode.
Oh, damn it.
Dude, we talked for like 40 something minutes about Dragon Age Origins and 2, and then we went on for about like the same amount of time about just spellbound screaming about Dragon Age Inquisition.
I wasn't really screaming. It was more like sort of like despair.
Okay, it was silent anger.
Yes, it was like anguish.
Disappointment.
internally.
Yeah.
Yes, screaming internally would describe it well.
Yes. I
Well,
knew.
To be fair, he's a BioWare and Bethesda fan. Like,
Yes.
you bring this upon yourself in every possible way.
Yes, that's true.
Very much so.
I don't agree completely, but I see what you're coming from.
You are a Bethesda fan.
Yes, but
Admit it. You like,
listen,
you
look,
like
I
Bethesda
never
games.
said they're blameless, okay? I never said they're blameless. Like, if you look at well, I guess that's two different entities, but Bethesda, I guess the publisher's doing fine, right? It's just
Yes.
that the bit that's dealing with the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, they are just fucking up,
Well,
like in
ZeniMax
epic
is the
proportions. Wait, isn't Bethesda? Wait.
Bethesda is the developer. ZeniMax
Yes, Bethesda's
is the
developer.
studio that Bethesda made to publish their games.
They are two different Bethesdas.
Technically, yes.
Oh, you know what? Who gives a fuck? Creation Club.
Yes. Yes, the Creation Club. I hear it's a big fucking clusterfuck.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
As we all predicted.
Well, I
We
didn't.
knew this. You didn't. We talked about this on the E3 episode.
Yes.
We knew this was going to happen.
Well, you knew
we
it was
knew
gonna-
as
Well, I
soon
guess we-
as they didn't give people enough information when they announced this, we knew this was going to happen. They apart from it being launched, we didn't have any other sort of big information.
It's still
about
the
this,
same.
did we?
It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
We still have
And-
information. I was hoping that at least they would just. I was really hoping for them to not fuck this up, because this is, in principle, this is just to me, this is a very interesting idea, right? The Creation Club, but just the way they're going about doing it, like the first Crusade was less of a fucking clusterfuck than this bullshit.
It really was.
And people
Oh my
died
god!
there.
Yes.
I mean, nobody's going to die over the creation.
No,
Nobody
it's
isn't going to die over the creation.
No, and also, while you're at it, mods are fine, internet. Stop losing your shit over some fucking invisible thread. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Bethesda are not going to shut down mods. They can't do that.
If anything, mods are just going to be more healthy thanks to this.
What I'm hoping is that this sort of incentivizes people to appreciate modders a bit more. So if you go on Nexus Mods and you see that donate button, you will consider it a bit more now.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yep.
Yes, hopefully. Some people really deserve it.
Definitely.
So basically, let's go through this again. How exactly does this fucking thing work again? So a modder wants to have his content published in the Creation Club, right? So they send a letter. So they send a letter through Bethesda explaining the idea and showing some of the other work they've already done, right?
I assume
And basically, Bethesda looks at what you're proposing, and they go through this whole process of choosing whether or not it's worth their time to do that, right? Okay. While taking into consideration the work you've worked on previously.
Yes.
Or you could apply at a job as a software development. The process is nearly identical, except you get a job and you
actually get paid.
And you get paid.
And you get paid, yes.
Well, you do get paid with Creation Club, but it's a one-time thing. This
as expected.
This is the thing that sort of rankles a bit, because I understand this is just industry. This is like industry standards. Like you're contracted to work on a product for Bethesda.
Fair.
Yes,
but that's not even fucking.
It's not fair. I agree. Like this is the thing. It's like they could have built so much goodwill by just giving credit to the modder and just giving them royalties.
Yep.
But they didn't. They just expose themselves as greedy bastards. It's just appalling.
Does the modder name even appear on the? Are you serious?
Nope, doesn't.
Are you serious?
Nope, it doesn't. It's Bethesda property.
That's just fucking. That's a stupid fucking move. Holy shit,
my god,
this is the biggest of all moves.
This is a PR disaster. Like it's like you said, Moon. It does better by not existing.
Bethesda. I try to work with Bethesda, and when they say yes, they will pay me once.
They pay you 3 times for every milestone.
Okay,
but it's not even a lot of money.
It's not even a lot of money. I don't get like any
it's like
sort
under
of like.
It can get like under $1,000 apparently from what the sources are saying.
I don't even get any money from how good the mod does. And apart from that, my name isn't even on it.
Nope.
Fuck that.
I mean, people are outraged for very good reasons.
So you're not hoarding yourself out. It's worse.
Yes, actually.
Pretty much.
And it's not like this hasn't been done before. Like this is literally the paid mods thing, but rebranded. And the worst part is Steam Workshop, like for Dota and Counter-Strike and whatnot, it already works better than that. And that system is already kind of a mess. But they have managed to take something that kind of works and make it not work at all. Which is a very Bethesda thing to do. They have a talent for that.
Jesus, it's just... Why? Why did they not listen to people? They could have just gone to Nexus Mods and asked them, how do we do this?
This is exactly what I meant by they're not giving us enough information. And there wasn't. They knew that this was how they were going to do things, but they knew that if they announced that this was the way they were going to do, with the payments, with the way the modder gets credited, etc., they knew that people would not like this, so they just said nothing. This is what I meant when I said back in the previous episode when I said there's not enough information and there's probably a good reason behind it. This is exactly what I meant.
Yes,
they were hiding this. They were hiding this fucking bullshit. They already knew how the system would work. They didn't tell anyone because they knew it was going to scare people out of it.
Also, the people who signed on to the Creation Club, like there's an NDA, they can't say anything about it, but we should expect something to leak soon, and it's gonna get worse.
Jesus.
Yep. It's
Gonna get
basically getting worse.
Why would there be an NDA if Bethesda wants people to work with them?
Oh,
Gee, I
Okay.
wonder.
NDA is kind of interesting
Yeah, that's
practice
true,
if you're gonna work
Okay,
for a
fine, I get
developer.
it. But like, you're trying. It's like it's a sort of like program that you're using to get people to work with you, right?
Mm.
Why would you have an NDA that like forces people into not sharing the experience that they had with the Creation Club, right?
Probably
mean,
because
sort of-
they know it's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
but it's also
The
like it's like you said, industry standards. Like, just
I mean,
don't say how the company operates and things like that. You know,
Yeah, okay.
I can
get-
understand the NDA, but I'm saying that
I
it's
can understand the NDA if it's something about the actual code that's written or something. But like, if they can't talk about the whole experience, how the process worked for them, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's not transparent and it's
Exactly.
not helping itself promote itself amongst
Exactly.
Yeah,
You'd want people to promote the Creation Club. You'd want modders to go in, work with you, be happy with the result, and then go share that experience with other people. If you don't want them to do that, then clearly there's something going on there that we're not seeing that's really not working well for them.
It's just this thing is just an effort to sell mods on PS4, and I don't know why they bothered to put that on a PC.
There are already mods for the PS4.
No, they're for
Granted,
Xbox. For the Xbox, they don't.
No. They're also for the PS4. Sony went back on that.
Huh.
There are now mods for PS4. Sony did went back on that, which is good. But
didn't
like,
actually know that.
but albeit they're of course much more limited than PC mods, right? Of course.
You don't have
But
the scripted
they're
sender for
still
one.
there. Yeah, they don't have the scripted and they never will because they
But
can't.
this is
handle
just to show you how important mods are to Bethesda games. Like, I understand, like, the Bethesda games are buggy, they don't like the modders repair the shit. Fine, I get it. The appeal to these games, at least for me and for I think a lot of people, is just this massive world that you can just explore and just have fun in. It's the sandbox experience that's appealing.
Well, the sandbox, quote unquote.
The mods just make it so much better, and a lot of people enjoy creating these things. That people don't make mods because they really want to. They just want to play them. They actually want to make mods for the fun of creation.
Yeah. They just enjoy making them and not like using them.
Bethesda games offer them this opportunity, so this is great. And the Creation Club was just, you could make, I mean, not a career, but you could have just like this part-time job about part-time. You can have this source of income from passion of yours, and this sort of answers your software developer thing, Moon. Like, some people don't want to be a software developer, some want to be modders, right? And this was such an interesting
skill overlap is there.
Yeah, and this would have been such a great opportunity for them, but this is fumbled this so fucking badly. Oh my god, this is spectacular. Basically, how stupid they are about this.
You wanna make money doing mods, start a Patreon.
Yep.
Do not go into this thing.
I mean, the thing is,
there are many modders teams that did pay that.
But it doesn't really work though. That's the thing. For some reason,
for some,
it's few and far between, right? And you have some projects that don't. They're big mods. They're amazing content, but they don't really get all that much donation. And I don't know why. Is it just because people think mods should not? That like the vast majority of people think mods should not have any money price attached to them, even though it's optional. It's very strange. Like the Nexus, there's a donation button that barely anyone use it.
No, people use it.
No, it's very.
When you feel like
it's a tiny percent. It's a tiny percentage. Almost no one uses it.
Well, like, yeah, because like it's like people create mods. Like you said, most people create mods because it's fun, right? And you want to share that with other people.
Yes, and what better than
When
to
you
make
say
what's
mod-
fun as your work?
I know, but like when you say mod, people think about like all the source mods that existed for Half-Life 2 and fan-made patches and other like fan-made overalls and all that. And all those things like have always been made free. Like there are tons of pages for old games like compatibility patches and overall like complete overhauls of games, like and most people over the years they've always been free, you know. So when you start, so even if it's just like Bethesda mods, people tend to be very cautious about whenever they see money attached to a mod, because back in the day, you know, that's the whole thought process. Like back in the day, you never even considered paying money for a fan-made modification, you know.
But
You're just changing the status quo and asking people to just give you more for the same. It's never gonna go well.
but this
Might
is
have a point. Modders should probably get paid, possibly. I mean, I honestly gotta say this: if you want to make a career out of purely modding, don't do it. I think that's just a bad idea. It's not gonna happen. But I could be wrong.
I mean, yeah, people have made good things out of bad ideas before. So
If you do want to make it, at least accept that it's kind of gonna be like YouTube and Twitch. Like,
yeah,
a few
definitely.
people will make it, some will make it big, but the vast majority won't really get anything out of it.
And I'm sort of hoping this is the backlash to Creation Club is what's gonna propel this sort of idea that you could let's stick it to the man, right? And just I'm gonna donate to that guy's Patreon, that modder's Patreon directly. No money for you, Bethesda, right? This sort of idea that, and I guess this is another thing that just the Creation Club could have been this place where you could just find amazing, super high quality mods that have a ton of hours behind them, and just, you know, it's like buying a mini expansion for your game, because it has the official the official God, I always say veto for some reason when I'm trying to say the opposite. The official stamp of approval, right? It's guaranteed to work.
What they sold it as.
Yeah, they were supposed. It was basically paid DLC.
Yes,
That's what they want. That they would.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, they fucked it up so badly. Like, this was a brilliant idea that they just mangled.
Yep.
Oh god.
Instead of getting expansions and quests and real DLC content, you have a system that, as of right now, is basically just skins.
Yeah.
Skins you could get on Nexus mods, and some
They're
of the
overpriced
skins,
too. They're overpriced too. Like,
yes,
also,
and some of them don't even work, which like
apparently they
These are
don't
not
work if
build
you
sites.
they don't work if you have actual mods, like free mods on, because it
Are
breaks
you
the load
serious?
order or something. Like, it fumbles your load order. It's like I said, the first Crusade was less of a fucking clusterfuck than this bullshit.
Jesus.
I don't understand how they're just so, I mean, retarded.
specifically, the gun sights on like one of those, what was it, homemade shotgun or something like that, on one of the version, the gun sights literally don't work. You don't shoot where the gun sights aim.
Oh
And,
man.
you know, that's the thing you spot the second you pick up that gun and fire it.
Yeah.
That is where the Bethesda QA is supposed to be, and you know they have playtester and shit. Except that process apparently doesn't happen.
Yep.
And the biggest irony of this, there's already a mod on Nexus mod for that fixes your paid mod. Just amazing. I love it.
Oh man, that's great.
Oh man.
Uh,
Oh god, this is, oh Jesus Christ, the irony. This is like multiple layers of irony. It's just
so let's see.
Dante's Inferno's level thing of irony.
So let's see. The modder gets fucked for working with Bethesda.
Mhm.
People need to go to the people need to go to other modder sites to get a free mod to fix their paid mod.
Yep.
And even then it might break some of your other mods that you installed.
Yep.
Oh, it does, but
Wait,
even
there's
if
more.
even if yes, there's more. Even if you don't use any mods, but
That's the
you're
more.
console and you have a data cap, the entire update that is nothing but creation club content that you didn't ask for, that will break your mods because it breaks script extender due to the way Bethesda patch things.
It updates your exe, so you need to update your phase.
It also contains all the items in the creation club. It downloads the actual files on your hard drive. But
Wait.
It's like Capcom and Bethesda had a baby.
Are they pulling a fucking Capcom?
Yes, it's on this DLC.
What?
Yeah, all the mods exist on your computer. Yes.
Yes.
You just need an ESP to unlock them. Or another mod.
Everything that's in the creation club right now, if I like download Fallout 4 or like Skyrim Special Edition, it will be right there on my disk.
Yep.
Yes.
Every single one.
Even if you don't own them.
Even if I don't own them.
Yep. Paying for them only unlocks them.
Yep.
What?
It's on this DLC.
What the fuck is it doing on my hard drive then?
It's on this DLC. Well,
space
patch.
and data. And the best part is, they're actually not encrypted. They have the exact same format as normal mods. So you can literally go in, unpack the archive, pack it up as a free mod, and put it in your game.
My head hurts.
Also, these mods are
so many
overpriced.
levels. Yes.
Yeah, overpriced.
Speaking of overpriced,
wait, before we go to the where I'm sure you're going to, I just need to ask a question about how they've priced their mods and how Blizzard prices its microtransactions. Because Blizzard stuff is really expensive.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I sort of get it because Heroes of the Storm is a free game and it's like you pay 10 euros for a skin or something. Like, it's obscene.
Well, not anymore, you don't.
Yeah, to be fair, they did address that with the Heroes of the Storm Experience 2.0 stuff.
Yeah.
Also known as realizing you're the most expensive microtransactions heavy game on the entire market.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they did get shit for that.
Yes.
Okay, I actually didn't know that. Okay, that's sort of what I wanted to ask, because if they get shit for that, they didn't get shit for that, but Bethesda did. People are biased. I mean, that's news to no one, but yeah. Anyway, move on. I'm the point I wanted to ask has been cleared.
So,
money.
Yes, money. As in, if this money-grubbing endeavor by Bethesda could get any worse, you have another favorite microtransaction scumbag move, which is you don't buy stuff directly, you buy our fake currency in packages.
Because that's always nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's always nice. Yeah, I fucking hate those fucking systems.
And the cheapest is $8.
Yep.
So the cheapest you can.
Good fate. They give you 100 points for free. Do you know what you can buy for those?
Pip-Boy recolors.
Literally recolor of your power armor.
Yeah.
Pip-Boy skins.
Yeah. You get 2 Pip-Boy skins or 1 power armor recolor.
Great.
You mean the Pip-Boy recolor? You mean all those fucking free mods that exist of Pip-Boy recolors?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Are you for fucking real?
Also, the Chinese stealth armor on the Creation Club is by the same guy who made the one on the Nexus mod. It's the same author.
Well,
but the armors look different though.
Well,
I guess it's just changed the texture.
Look different.
No, I mean they look different as in it's just sort of like the Creation Club version has is slightly lighter. It's not as dark as the mod version looks better.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's a bit the same guy, but somehow his free mod looks better.
I fucking thought this was a good idea.
I don't know, man. I mean,
it wasn't an actual developer model.
Nope. I mean, this entire thing still can be salvaged, but it's just I'm not saying I'm not saying it happening.
Salvage, just fucking remove it.
No, I mean you remove the credit system, you change the way you pay the modders, right? You acknowledge they fucking exist, right? Pay them royalties, and stop ignoring modders. Like the guy who made, I think it's the guy who made Sim Settlement for Fallout 4, which is, if you don't know what Sim Settlement is, it's basically this. If you don't enjoy the settlement building process of Fallout 4, Sim Settlement is a mod. Some people do. Sim Settlement is a mod that allows you to basically just put down a foundation, I guess, and NPCs, as they come to live in your settlement, will build this by themselves. They will
That's nice.
build the building by themselves, and it will fill it with like clutter, and it looks lived in, right? It makes your settlement looks alive.
Right.
It's and they sort of take care of themselves. It's an amazing mod, and I think the author of that mod tried to contact Bethesda about Creation Club, and I think he just got silenced completely.
Well,
It's either him or somebody else. I think it's him. But some modders are just being ignored. Some modders who make really great mods. So.
Well, they probably have a lot of submissions because hey, who doesn't want money?
Yeah. But there's also another problem. Like this is just not ending. There's another problem. There's a size limit to your mod that you can have. It's something called records. I don't know what that is. Like the way they explain this. The where I got that information from, it says Automatron has a size of 50,000 records. I don't know what unit records is, but your Creation Club files are limited to 4,000.
Wait, Automatron is the expansion, right?
Yes, it's an expansion that adds the robot NPCs, companions that you can, the robot building system, right? It's not a massive thing, but it's interesting content, right?
Right.
You can build robots. Like some people love this shit. You can build robots. It's great.
Yeah, of course.
This is a size of 50,000 records. Again, I don't know what records are, but it's like this is the relative size. The size that you're limited to in Christian Club is 4,000. It's
it's under a tenth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you need 50,000 records to make something like Automatron, how are you going to make
that big?
How are you going to make those massive expanse like Moon Party elsewhere for Skyrim? How are you going to make that?
I would definitely pay money for something like one of those mods for Skyrim, or the other. What was the name of the other one? Worm something.
Worm's Tooth.
It was called Worm's Tooth.
Yeah, Falscar and Worm's Tooth.
Worms. Yeah, I definitely pay money for that.
Also, ironically, the guy that made Falscar did not get a job at Bethesda. He got hired by Bungie.
Wow.
Makes a mod for Bethesda, gets hired by another company.
Well,
This is so weird. I don't know what these people are doing.
Wait, you're telling me that Bethesda releases mods for their own games, because let's be honest here, they're mods for their own games, be them official expansions or not, and then they release a system that is extremely flawed in many different aspects.
Oh, yes.
And limit the size of mods and essentially the content of what mods can be there for the creators. So they are releasing a bad system that chokes the mod community that tries to get in it because they want to get some revenue out of their work.
Because it's faster.
Yep.
Because it's faster. Something like Worm's Tooth and Falscar are huge fucking mods that have several gigs of
and there's this other mod for interesting NPCs. It's 2 gigabyte mods that just adds millions of NPCs. It just makes Skyrim a million times better.
And it's and you can't even make those kinds of mods. You can't even make the kind of mods that you'd actually want to pay money to have.
Yep.
You can't make them because there's a file size limit.
Yep.
What's the point
So-
in like? So
I don't
what?
know, man.
It's just,
They either
it's
have
just going to be recolors and skins and whatnot.
Yep, apparently.
they either have technical reasons, which just Bethesda engines and stuff, we know it's bad. That is the good
I
option.
know, but like,
The
it's like-
bad option is they deliberately intend this to be literally a skin store that milks money.
Yeah.
And so far everything points to that.
but it's not going to make any money.
Yeah. I do hope it doesn't make any money.
It's literally like the existence of this in the current implementation is basically an insult to the intelligence of your average gamer.
Yeah.
You have to be a sucker to pay for this. In no universe are the things on the Creation Club a good value proposition. And Bethesda's not even giving you support or doing it right. There's so many technical problems with this. It's like, I really hope the backlash is big enough for this to never be a thing again, because apparently it wasn't enough with the first paid mods. They literally repackaged that, and this is Creation Club.
Yep.
It's like someone really tried to get the paid mods out,
Yeah.
and then they like dropped all the good files down the gutter while they were carrying them over to their boss, and you're like, well, boss, here's the work, I guess. And no one even bothered to look at the proposition properly.
And it doesn't look like they even tried, to be honest.
At the launch of Creation Club, I have to say Bethesda even got praised for, like, wanting to make an initiative to work with modders, expand the community. And in theory, yes.
Yes.
In theory, it's that. The thing is, it's not like other companies aren't doing that already. Like Creative Assembly, for example, recently the makers of the Total War series, they have an annual modder gathering event where they fly for free, like all expenses paid trip, as far as I know. I'm not entirely sure, but as far as I know, it is that. Gathering of their top modders, like the most popular mods for Medieval, for Shogun, I think for Rome as well, like they're newer games that are still on the same engine. And they have a meeting with the developers and they discuss how they can make modding better, they can make the game better. Radius, well, like the Radius mod is one of the most popular mods for Shogun and also Rome. He now works at Creative Assembly after several years of those meetings. But because they don't really market it as a thing, and they'll try to make a profit about it, it doesn't blow up on the internet.
I wish. This is why I wish I could enjoy these games, because the games that I like just get treated like trash. Makes me sad. Like,
I mean,
Like
this.
the Creation Club existing, I'd say, literally lowers Bethesda's and all of their franchises' brand values just by existing.
Yeah, it's what you said about the
Carries
auction
a very
house. too.
negative idea.
Yes.
It goes back to the Diablo 3 auction house thing.
Yes. And like to recover from that, Blizzard literally had to
Remove it completely.
fire key people, like the lead developer guy, and switch the thing, remove the feature, and switch the game to an entirely different team in the company. And that's Blizzard. That's like one of the most famous AA developers who are known for their polish, their thoughtfulness. Like nearly no feature in a Blizzard game is bad or pointless. They specifically very hard try to polish things before introducing a new feature. That's the one time they realized they fucked up, and they fixed it.
Yeah.
Bethesda, meanwhile, does this thing a second time, worse than the first time. And
With a
so
different
far,
name.
it's a different name, and so far completely unrepentant. The one thing I've seen is a mention on the FAQ, I think, that they are working on a fix to possibly let you have the Creation Club without downloading all the mods in it if you don't own them.
thank fucking God.
It just blows my mind how it even thought this was a good idea to have you download all the content on the damn thing, which points
Who the
to
fuck does that?
but which points to the idea that to the thing that they just knew, like at the start, that there was never going to be anything significant on the Christian Club, because if they just expect you to be able to store all the Christian Club content on your computer,
Yeah, then they
that means it's like they don't expect
yeah.
there to be anything big. They don't expect to have any big mods on there, which might explain why they ignored some modders that are known for making big, massive, expansive mods.
Yep.
And they are working on a new IP right now, aren't they?
Yeah, and people are saying it's Project Starfield. It's still going to be Project Starfield. I don't know.
The only kind of reasonable explanation is this being a test run
Yeah.
for a full feature complete implementation of Creation Club on their new IP.
Yeah.
But it went so fucking horribly wrong. It's like if they put Creation Club on their new IP, they will literally tank sales just because it's there.
Oh my
It doesn't
god.
even matter if they fix it by then. It will just, there's no coming back with that name to people and telling them it's good.
Yeah, it's just, oh my god. They're trying to implement this in the next IP. Everybody knows this is what they're trying to do. But I hope they don't fucking do it, because this is a clusterfuck of it's like magnificent proportions. This is just, wow. How can you fuck up that badly? Twice.
And how little do you value your existing customers that have bought Skyrim and Fallout to use their games as
multiple times?
Yes,
they voted multiple times.
You know is technically broken. It's like, in the best case scenario, this is just a patch for you. But it's still a patch that you have to download and install. By itself presents nothing, bloats your installation size, and still breaks your current mods.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, Bethesda, what the fuck?
Now I feel sad. I'm not even angry, I'm just sad.
Disappointed.
the thing-
Disappointed.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, really, because, man, all my favorite developers are just like taking a dive in the shit sea. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Wake the fuck up!
First BioWare, now just like Bethesda just doing what? I don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
Even BioWare, even on EA's leash, they tried. At least they tried.
I mean, Anthem looks good, at least. So,
Yes.
I mean, it looks good. It looks good. I don't know what else. It looks good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The thing is that I wrote a thing. I'm gonna read it. Fallout 4 as a game cannot stand on its own without mods. I'll freely admit that. Contractual work may be the industry standard, but paying modders royalties is a sign of goodwill. While Bethesda knows that mods are a great part of their sandbox world, they also need to know that keeping modders happy will be better for them on the long run. Sweeten the deal. You attract more flies with honey. Not to call modders flies, but what they're doing is they're just gonna push away the people that make their games fun. Right.
Basically, yes.
So they need to do a 180 on this, because this is bad. This is really, really, really bad.
Yep.
And it's a big USA corporation. It's gonna take time, even if they know they have to do it. But the longer they delay, the worse we'll get. And these are just the problems we know of so far.
Oh god.
Like, since launch, every day this has been becoming more of a shitstorm, and people are discovering other different technical problems with this that they haven't been fixed yet.
Yep.
It's like, how long can they even sustain this? Like, are they even making any money off of this? Because if they are, that's actually the saddest part.
Yeah, I think there are
nets
some.
them enough money, they'll just keep it there.
Yeah, I think there are
Despite
some whales that are gonna be spending money on that. I don't know. The idea is that this could still make them money, because some people have too much money for their own good. So I don't know, but
Let's hope they don't spend it on skins they can get for free on the Nexus.
yeah. But the thing is, some people have bought the games on the consoles and then bought it on PC because they could have mods.
Yep.
And I just find the treatment of just the underappreciation of what mods do for your game. I find that disgusting. Christian Club, bad.
Yep, like so net positive would have been the mods on PlayStation, but if they did indeed allow normal
guys,
mods,
I will have to be right back a little.
All right. Well, if you could just stick around for like 3 minutes, because we're basically done with the Creation Club.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, I guess we did the talking on Creation Club. Very passionate talking.
I'm
Creation Club is bad.
Yes.
It's disappointing.
Yes.
Creation Club is bad.
It's disappointing to the point where it's being done and presented to you by a big company that intends to make money with people that are supposedly specialized in these kinds of subjects, and you look at it and you say, I don't understand about any of this, and I could do this better.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The entire implementation is just insulting that they think this is a good product that would win people over.
Yep, insulting. That's the word I was looking for. I just again, this is so stupid.
Yep.
How was this greenlit?
Like, if you had to get a tagline out of this entire conversation of just disappointment, it would be Creation Club insulting to gamers.
Yep.
I'm
Anyway,
not even angry anymore. I'm just sad.
Okay, let's.
I'm just depressed.
We've beaten that horse dead twice now, so let's just
beat it some more so they don't fucking revive it again.
I mean,
Yep.
Necromancer
I
does
really
not care.
hope we don't have to come back and beat the third time, because that would be boring.
Maybe we won't be talking for like 50 minutes now.
I'll just not fucking bother. I'll just stand there and look depressed again.
No one will see it's another time.
Okay, fine. I'll sound depressed again.
Okay.
Let's wrap this up.
Ling is waiting on us. I have a little segment called recommendations. Yes, I ripped off that on podcast. I don't care. Just say, Ling, since you need to go.
No, it's fine.
No?
The thing I needed to do is already done.
Okay.
My parents were going.
Are you the Flash? Are you Jesus?
But is Jesus known for speed? And no, I'm not Christian.
Jesus is known for miracles.
Oh.
That's something.
It's just Flash and then Jesus. You're killing me.
Both of them have walked on water.
You know what? You know what? What do you recommend, Power?
Well, I recommend everyone go buy XCOM 2 and go play the War of the Chosen.
It's a great expansion.
Yeah,
this is how you do content for your game, Bethesda.
Yeah, exactly. Content for a game.
Oh,
fucking
man.
look at War of the Chosen.
Yep.
Oh, it's great. Everyone died in my squad and I had to restart the game. I lost 10 hours of my life. I fucking love it.
You know what? I haven't done the math, but War of the Chosen probably costs less than all the skins on the Creation Club if you buy them together.
Ow, that hurts my heart a little.
I mean, it is like
It's actual real content.
yes, it's. I think it's around like $20 and for everything. So far, around
Go
that
buy some
amount.
skins in Path of Exile instead.
Yep.
They're worth more.
Buy the big packs. Buy the $400 packs.
Oh jeez.
Support grinding gear so that they make some actually decent UI things. And stuff.
Fund the UI department.
Yes.
Well.
Oh, UI at GGG.
Yes. So yeah, I recommend War of the Chosen. Go play it. That's my recommendation for this.
All right, Moon.
I recommend something which is the opposite of Bethesda. Like Bethesda currently burying their franchises with pointless things. I recommend picking up old franchises and reviving them with fun things like Battlestar Galactica Deadwalk.
Ah,
Oh.
finally played it.
Just
Curious.
Yes, it's a real neat ship management tactical game, and like it's a very small studio. It's like I looked at the credits, it's less than 10 dudes, and they treat the franchise with respect. Everything looks like Battlestar. It plays like a fun-filled tactics game, and you can do so much for a franchise just by handing it to a small team of dedicated developers that know what they're doing and actually like the thing. Just get out there and give your IP to developers who care. Don't give it to fucking Bethesda or someone else.
Yeah, Games Workshop.
Games Workshop.
Yeah. Don't treat it as a fucking cow to be milked and make a quick buck.
Yeah,
Treat
Games
it with
Workshop.
care and you get a massive return. It's like, how many people that haven't watched Battlestar Galactica at all will see this new game and maybe go watch it? Even buy your DVD set. Or just know that it exists, like it's a no-show. What
Yeah,
if people
Games
have missed
Workshop.
it? So yeah, my endorsement is don't let your franchises sit dead. Actually take care when you're giving them out and pick passionate, talented development teams, even if they're small, and do your research when you do that.
Yeah,
And you
Games.
have great games.
Good to-
Yeah, Games Workshop.
I was about to say that. Oh man. All right.
So don't be Bethesda and don't be Games Workshop.
Yes, basically. Ling, what do you recommend and / endorse?
Speaking of passionate teams that are delivering their game, I need to recommend Secrets of Grindia. It's a work in progress game. It's Zelda-like. If you don't know, it's how do you call it? A kind of top-down,
Old-timey Zelda.
old-timey Zelda, top-down, brawly RPG game. The combat is really solid. They are in the process of finishing the game as it is in beta.
Do you grind a lot in that game?
You can, and you have the option to not grind in that game. So
Perfect.
Because it's got
It's
grind
really
here.
good.
I
yes,
was wondering if that was like intentional or not.
yes, it is
must be
because
intentional.
you have a storyline you can follow, and in a storyline you can grind to your heart's content to get every single little thing, or you can just do the main storyline and be done with it.
Interesting. So it's a Zelda-like?
It's a Zelda-like game, yes.
Yeah, old-timey
Same.
Zelda. You know those old.
Yeah.
Nintendo
Link to the
Zelda.
Past, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's
And it has an arcade mode where you start at level 0, so to speak, every time, and you have a kind of tower where you climb with different enemies and encounters, and you get scored for it, and you get somewhat persistent rewards for the arcade mode. So the game is already very complete. It plays really well. It's good. It's a good time spender, I would say, especially for the ones that enjoy the genre.
Secrets of
Not
Grindia.
really much. Secrets of Grindia.
Yeah, looks nice.
It's on Steam, right?
Yes, it is on Steam and on their own webpage. Secrets of Grindia.
I'll put links to all the recommendation stuff below in the description.
XCOM, Battlestar Galactica, Secrets of Grindia. Go play that.
Yes.
Yeah.
As for myself, I'm actually staying on theme. I'm going to recommend two things actually. One is or at least I recommend you check out a mod for Fallout 4 called Fallout Cascadia, and if the project interests you, you can find a way to let your support support the team. This is the first one, and the second one I'll recommend is a series of YouTube videos by a YouTuber called Zarek Zakaron, who has a series called "What If Game Was Good," and the one I'm going to recommend is "What If Skyrim Was Good."
Oh boy.
It has 6 parts, but it's a bit of a provocative title, but he's really going to it from the perspective what it was really good, right? Is mostly, very funny, I know. But what if he tackles the story, and he did it for Oblivion too. He sort of explains the story, like how would the story just be better, right? And go listen to it. It's kind of brilliant. The way he explains these things. That guy should go work with Bethesda and become their lead writer, because teach them what good story is like.
Yeah.
Because it's just listen to it. It's amazing. And his Skyrim stuff is like 6 parts. It's super long, but his Oblivion one is just one video. So you could actually just go watch that if you want like an aperçu, as the phrase in French, of what's in store. He has one on Morrowind as well, but I have not watched that yet. So I probably going to do that, mostly because I have not actually played Morrowind. I sort of know the story by exposure to just internet radiation. But
You do know you're a bit of a masochist, right?
what?
It's like you are kind of masochistic in this, is in if you're a Bethesda fan and you're disappointed with Bethesda like the rest of the entire world right now, go listen to a guy that will explain to you how disappointing their previous games were and how they can be fixed.
Oh yes, harder, daddy.
I mean, if that's how you want to look at it, sure. It's basically, like I said, the appeal of these games is not because it has a great story. It's just because it's fun to dick around in it. So, yeah, I recommend you check out his series. I'll put the links in the description, whether it's on the website or on YouTube.
Okay.
All right, so I guess that's it.
That's a wrap. Okay, everybody go home. Everything's done here. Bye. See ya.
Bye. Goodbye.
Wave.
Bye. I was. You say I'm bad at making outros. You just sabotage me there. That's your fault.
No.
That's
Much
your fault,
better
Power.
outro. It's a much better outro than any other outro we've ever done.
No, you fucked it up. That's on you.
It's just straight to the point.
It's straight to the point. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
People understand that it's ending.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
And it doesn't end with the phrase, I don't know how to end the video.
But it's not a video, though.
No, but you
I didn't hide
did
the
say
podcast.
that.
Bye-bye. Hey, Powerhead. Guess who has the power of editing? Fuck you, buddy. Guess who got the last word? Oh, man.